And Joe Biden did the Tonight Show last week, and he was asked about that spy swap. Take a look.
Why do we trade 10 for 4?
Well, we got back 4 really good ones.
Yeah.
The 10, they've been here a long time, but they hadn't done much.
This Russian woman here, let me ask you something. And you would know this, Mr. Vice President. Do we have any spies that hot?
Let me make it clear. It wasn't my idea to send her back.
A break inside the White House.
There you go. All right, post-politics time, and we're joined now for the first time in the post-politics segment of Top Line. Ed O'Keefe, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you guys.
So, where do we start? I mean, we could start right there with Joe Biden. I mean, the guy,
He's always good for a laugh.
What's your sense now? Congress is back after this 4th of July recess. They left so much left undone, before they did no war funding, unemployment extension. Any signs of this logjam being broken?
It's difficult to tell. I think by the end of this week, certainly, we should see some progress on really 3 things: financial reform, the war funding, and that jobs bill. I think you had the order right, though. It was the war funding, then the jobs bill, and then probably by the end of the week we'll know whether or not the votes are there for financial reform.
Oh, that energy, immigration, all the other fun things.
And there's so many other things. I mean, it's incredible that, and I think as we let it today, it's like, yes, you come back with unfinished business, but there are real consequences for Democrats if they don't get any of these issues completed.
That's exactly right. Not just some appropriations bills that are hanging out there. And I want to ask you about an interesting story you had in the Post today. You wrote up a federal worker survey. Some really intriguing findings. People seem generally happy with their jobs, but one thing I was struck by was Office of Management and Budget. Something's going on over there. Something's in the water at OMB. People are not happy, and you've seen the Peter Orszag shop there. Folks are a lot less satisfied with their job than they were a year ago, 2 years ago.
That's right. This is a survey that's done every other year by the government, basically to assess the sense of rank and file workers. They ask 82 agencies to participate in this, and OMB, Office of Management and Budget, located right next door to the White House, fared pretty poorly in this, which is ironic because Peter Orszag is supposed to be the government's top manager.
Right.
And it turns out he's not being a very good manager of his own shop. Now, his people will say, look, we've only got about 500 people. Looks as maybe fewer than 100 may have filled out this survey, but it's not good when Orszag's getting ready to leave.
Right. So what are the complaints?
Well, the complaint, basically they measure 4 different areas. It's job satisfaction. Are you getting enough job training? Do you think your agency is progressing well? And generally they're saying, no, we don't have good confidence in our agency bosses, which means they don't have confidence in Orszag. We don't think that we're moving ahead as much as we could be. Remember, though, the OMB is involved in everything, every single piece of policy.
They're working hard.
And they are working hard. And so if the boss is burned out and leaving after less than 2 years, you can only imagine what the workers below him must think.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about, don't ask, don't tell policy. There was this survey sent out to the service members last week, and they've been moving. What's your sense of how this is being handled from the administration perspective? They're going out there and asking service members their opinion about a policy. They've already said they're going to change.
Right, yeah. Congress is expected to include repeal of don't ask, don't tell in the annual defense spending bill. The Senate will likely move on it at some point in the next few weeks, but with all those other things, they've got a lot on their plate. And this is a survey that was designed to ask 200,000 active duty, 200,000 reserve troops, what do you make of the possibility of pulling back the ban on gays openly serving in the military? Went out last Wednesday by email. By Friday, we had copies of it. And by midday Friday, the Pentagon started to realize this could be a problem because the gay rights groups stepped out and said, this looks to be just insulting, derogatory. Why are you doing it?
And what's the purpose? If you're going to repeal the policy anyway?
You didn't do it when Truman integrated blacks into the military. You didn't ask troops what they thought about including women in more active combat roles. Why are you doing it now? The Pentagon says Secretary Gates wants it, President Obama wants it as part of this review that's due to them by December.
Well, it's very interesting to see
we get the results.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure we'll have it very publicly known. Ed O'Keefe for the Washington Post. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. It does it for this edition. It's twitter.com/. I don't know about
sure you don't want to double that back?
No, I don't.